Welcome to the show, guys. I'm Christopher Carruthers, and you're watching CATV Live right here on Cash Alternative TV. Cash Alternative TV is a show about cryptocurrency with a focus on Dash, which aims to be a digital cash for the world, an alternative to cash. If that's something that you're interested in, you want to learn more about Dash, or just want to hang out with me some more, don't forget to subscribe if you're watching me on YouTube, or follow and friend me on any of the other platforms that I'm broadcasting from. This show is broadcasting today on YouTube, on Twitter, on Facebook Live, and on Twitch and D Live. And at the end of the show, if you're watching me on Twitch or D Live, there's going to be an AMA. You can ask me any questions you want about cryptocurrency or Dash. So this is a weekly show. I do this every week. It's becoming kind of the favorite for me to do every week. So I'm really happy to have you guys with me. I'm just going to do a quick check again of OBS to make sure everything's working okay. It looks like everything's good. All right, it's good to see, good to see. I'm glad you guys are with me. I'm going to check the YouTube, see if there's any comments. And there's no comments because I'm getting underway late, so I can understand why there's no comments. So I'm just going to get right into the show. So we're going to start off first with how you can get a hold of me. I'm Tao of Satoshi. I'm also Christopher Carruthers is my real name, but Tao of Satoshi is my online screen handle. So if you want to follow me, you can follow me at Tao of Satoshi. That's at the bottom there. I'm always open to talk about all kinds of cryptocurrency topics, and it doesn't matter what crypto you're into. I'm always learning, and I'm always getting ready to, learn more about cryptocurrency from other people. But I'm also I want to teach people about Dash, because I believe Dash is going to be a digital cash for the world. It's going to be an alternative to cash coming up. So I want to make sure people understand about Dash. So that's that. And the next thing I do on the show is my video lineup. So the last week I put out 3 videos, and I'm going to go over them today. If you're interested in any of those topics, I suggest that you head over to my YouTube channel and check out these shows. So the first one is I had an interview with Tobias Ruck. He's a gentleman who runs be.cash. It's out of Bitcoin Cash. So we talked about the name be.cash. So it's kind of like a derogatory term towards Bitcoin Cash, because you know how they want to be referred to as the Bitcoin, but Bitcoiners call them be.cash, and they think that's like a derogatory slur or whatever. But yeah, we talk about his project. We go through the technology that he offers, the technology that Bitcoin offers, SLP tokens and stuff like that. He's a really good, really nice gentleman, and I want to get a be.cash card when it comes out. Even though I'm a Dasher, and I want to support crypto projects, and I don't mind supporting Bitcoin Cash. So that's cool. If you want to watch Tobias Ruck, you can find that on my channel. It's called Crypto on a Card, and it's an interview with Tobias Ruck. So my second one was the second one that was released on Wednesday. The Dash Core Group recently released another teaser video, like another explainer video that explains what Dash is in like less than a minute. So I reviewed the one that we had from 2016, which was getting dated. It used the old Dash logo. And I also previewed the 2 that were just released. They were just released here in May 2020. So one of them was a short one, which is aimed at newbies. And the other one was more of an explanation of what goes on behind the scenes and adding privacy as a use case, because that's important to people in the industry. The short one's about 45 seconds long, and the long one's about 1 minute and 10 seconds long. So that's pretty cool. Those 2 are good. I offered my criticisms and my positive things for both of them. So if you want to check that out, that's also in my channel lineup. And the last one I did was the Dash Core Group recently released a presentation on Thursday, and it was talking all about Dash's economics. And I'm going to go over it a little bit now, but at first I'm going to describe the video. So basically it was just going over what was said at the Dash presentation and going over my thoughts about it and how I thought about it. So we're going to go into that now. I'm going to do a little detour into the Dash news, because I don't usually talk about the Dash news. I got the crypto news up now. Now's the Dash news. So basically what this presentation was about is 4 different topics that were the main topics of discussion. The first one was the block reward allocation. And basically to explain it in the best way, like I'm not going to go into it too much, because like I said, I have a whole video. If you want to check that out, it's more of my thoughts on the topic. But the first one is talking about the Treasury. So basically they want to have a flexible Treasury. Right now we have 10% goes to the Treasury at all times. And this is the same during a bull market and during a bear market. So they thought that why should we do it like this? Because it's sometimes in the bull market it's too much, and sometimes in the bear market it's not enough. So we're thinking to make sure that is like a flexible one. So like say in the bull market, we can only use 5% of the budget. And in the bear market, we could use like 15 to 20%. So basically it's going to be a flexible budget between 0 and 20%. That was the first thing that they were talking about. And the second thing that they were talking about was the block reward allocation between the miners and the masternodes. And what they found is they found that the ROI of masternodes has been going down over time. And they want to see it go up in the next little while to get us through this period where we have a little bit of higher inflation. And we have more of a circulating supply in addition to the circulating supply than our cryptocurrency companions like Bitcoin, Litecoin, Bitcoin Cash, stuff like that. And it's quite a big difference. Those coins have like maybe 1 to 2% emissions, whereas we, with the masternodes cashing out from the low ROI and our higher emissions as it stands right now, is definitely producing more coins than our competitors. So what they thought is they were going to raise the amount that goes to masternodes and lower the amount that goes to miners. And they can do that because of Dash's unique infrastructure. And like I said, I'm not going to go into it too much. My whole full video, my 20-minute comment, is in my video in my YouTube channel if you want to check it out. So the third one was talking about fees. Right now, Dash has fees under a cent, and that's great. But did you know that they're very much under a cent? They're like 1/100th of a cent. They're super cheap, and that's why we often see spam on the Dash network. We often see like spam attacks. I mean, they try to attack us, but we hold up pretty well. So what they thought was they could increase the transaction fees, and nobody's going to really even notice. Any genuine users are not going to notice, because it's still going to be much less than a cent. The target is going to be 1/10 of a US cent. So they're going to do that. They're going to put it into 1/10 of a US cent, and they're going to revisit it over time. So they want to keep it to that level. But say if the US dollar crashes and burns, and probably won't do that, but you never know with the way they're printing money. So they're going to say, well, we're going to reevaluate over time. What makes sense as a rational, super low fee? Not something too low that spammers can take advantage, but something that the average person is not going to see. So that was another thing that the core group talked about. And the fourth thing that they talked about was Masternode Participation. So Masternode owners, some vote, and religiously they vote every cycle, and others don't vote very much. This is part of what Dash is. If you're new to Dash, Masternodes vote on proposals every month, and the ones that receive a net 10% yes vote, they get funded by the Dash Treasury. So the problem is that we've been seeing over the last little while is that we have around 4,000 masternodes. Just make it an even number. We have about 4,000 masternodes, but only 2,000 masternodes vote. Now, if you remember, they need a 10% yes vote to qualify. So if you have 4,000 masternodes and only 2,000 vote, and you need 400 to pass, so now basically you need 20%. You need a 20% yes vote to go forward. So this is probably not very sustainable in the long term. So what they've done is they're gonna say that they're gonna have two solutions basically. They're gonna have one that says registration. So if you're a Masternode owner that has full intentions of voting, you can do another transaction that says, yes, I want to vote and I want to have a voting key. Or if you're a Masternode that just wants to participate with computing power and not really take the time to look into, or maybe you don't have the time to look into these proposals, you can opt out. Well, you don't opt in, right? So if you're a Masternode owner that's just coming to the network, you can just put a key to have a Masternode, say, yes, I'm a Masternode, yes, I'm committing computing power and I would like to get rewarded. And then you would do a second transaction saying, yes, I'm a Masternode who intends to vote. So then those two put together is going to be the voting. So instead of requiring 20% to pass, you only need 10% again of the Masternodes that are actually committed to vote. So that was the one that I liked. But there was also a second proposal that was talking about historical voting. So say, for example, 2,000 masternodes voted in the last cycle, then you would only need 200 masternode yes, a 10% net yes vote to pass. But there's ways that this can be gamed by the system. So it's like, say, if a masternode doesn't vote at one time, and then the next time it comes up, and then they could say, okay, well, I have 100 masternodes, so I'm going to have if I don't vote in one, I'm going to add it to the next one, and that's when my proposal is going to be up, right? So there's ways that it can be gamed. That's just one of them, but there are some ways that it can be gamed. So I like the first one better with the Masternode registration, and that just goes forward and saying these are the masternodes that are committed to voting. You know, both have their pros and cons, but that was one that I liked. So overall, I really liked the presentation. I really thought it was well done. And I will support these proposals as they go forward. But I'm sure in the Dash community, we're going to have people that are going to be, they're going to say, well, I don't really appreciate this. I don't like this. But so far, it's been out there for like a day or two. I don't see too many objections. Most people say, you know what, I think this makes sense. It's been well researched over the last 6 months, and we're going to go for it. So that was that. I don't want to spend too much time, but I kind of spent a little bit more because the subject matter is interesting. And if you're just joining us from Dash, if you're joining us and you're not familiar with Dash, this is kind of what goes on behind the scenes for us to have this digital cash and this governance system that we have. So if you want to learn more, if you're just coming to Dash or just seeing me for the first time, you can find out more information at www.dash.org. That's our main website for Dash, and that's who we support here at Cash Alternative TV. We have a focus on Dash and we want to see it through. So that was that. And the next one I'm going to do, hold on a sec, is the crypto news recap. So after I went through that whole spiel and just warming up my voice, now we can go through the crypto news recap. So I'm happy to have you guys with me. I'm just going to take one double check to see if you guys can see my screen. And yes, you can. All right, that's perfect. Now we continue. All right, so this next article was written by Roddy Rathor, and he's from Hackster.io. And he's talking about blockchain and decentralization. So he says, how decentralized finance promotes economic growth through improved financial inclusion. So as we know, the mainstream banking system, you need to have an ID, you need to have permission to use your money sometimes. You can only use your money at certain times. And there's a lot of unbanked people out there. So this is going to be something that's going to be good for those unbanked people. So the story. Around the world, businesses are finding ways to overcome the negative effects of the coronavirus pandemic. With physical distancing policies and quarantines set up to slow the spread of the disease, brick-and-mortar businesses have faced challenges in resuming operations, thus impacting their ability to generate cash flow and revenues. So it says, data from the World Bank's Global Findex database shows that 31% of the world's population, or around 1.7 billion people, are unbanked or underbanked, with China having the biggest underbanked population at 225 million. That surprises me. I wouldn't think that China would have the largest amount of unbanked because you have to pretty much be part of the system in China to get anything done. But apparently there is a lot of unbanked in China. So of those without a bank account, almost 2/3 claim they lack the funds to use one. Another 30% of the unbanked taking part in the aforementioned poll simply stated they do not require a bank account. So of course there's need for digital and contactless payments such as Dash and Bitcoin, and well, not so much Bitcoin. Bitcoin doesn't work so much as a payment network, but Bitcoin Cash and Litecoin, stuff like that. According to the World Economic Forum, governments around the world are promoting the use of digital payments to reduce physical contact and thus help minimize the spread of coronavirus. In response, digital payment providers are easing up on transaction fees and minimum requirements. According to Bain & Co., this will accelerate the use of digital payments, increasing the number of transactions that are conducted electronically in 2015 by 5 to 10 percentage points. As a result, the company predicts that by 2025, 67% of those transactions will take place digitally, compared to its previous estimate of 57% before the coronavirus pandemic. So as we know, natural causes like this, like natural disasters and pandemics, they tend to accelerate the course of history. So we could see this happening, the transition towards digital payments. We could see it happening already, but COVID-19 is basically saying, you know what, this is something that people really could use, you know? You got all these different services that are digital instead of going to the retail stores. So, and Dash is right in the middle of that. Dash aims to be a payment network, and it's fast, it's instant, and secure. And these are the three things that you need to have as a digital payment. So that's why we're bullish on Dash here at CATV. So keep in mind, all the resources that I'm looking at, all these articles are going to be in the description below on my YouTube page. So if you're watching me from any other site, if you're watching me from Facebook Live, Twitter, DLive, or Twitch, you can go to my YouTube channel. It's Cash Alternative TV, and all these links will be on the description below of this CATV Live. So happy you guys could join me. All right, so Anypay and Bitcoin have an on-again, off-again relationship. They sometimes dismiss Bitcoin. They say, no, you know what, we're not going to use it anymore on our services. And then they come back and say, oh, well, you know what? I mean, maybe we're being too hesitant here. Maybe we're being too hasty. We should give Bitcoin another chance. But then they get frustrated again with Bitcoin, and they have this on and off, on again, off again, kind of like soap opera relationship. So today I'm going to go into this article by Patrick Thompson on CoinGeek, and he basically goes into why Anypay has this relationship with Bitcoin. So here it says, why is Bitcoin not an attractive payment option? Anypay execs answer. Bitcoin service provider Anypay recently explored why Bitcoin is not an attractive payment option for merchants and consumers. In a blog post written by Anypay President Derek Horton, recommended that merchants and consumers do not use Bitcoin for payments. CoinGeek reached out to the Anypay team to know more, prompting Horton and Anypay CEO and tech lead Steven Zeiler to post a video on YouTube that expands on and provides clarity for a few of the topics covered in Anypay's post. So let's give this a watch. We're just going to watch a little bit. It's a 23-minute long video. We're just going to watch it a little bit.
All right, Steven. So thanks for joining me here. I asked you to come here today because Patrick Thompson of CoinGeek asked me a couple of questions on Twitter, and I thought it would be fun to take them one at a time and respond to them with as much detail as we can possibly give, because this is a really important topic. I want to give it the gravity that it deserves, and it's relating to the article that I wrote about BTC. Do you remember the one?
Yes, and thank you for your invitation.
Yeah,
I do remember your article about BTC. It was awesome because of the huge quantity of memes that were involved.
Yeah, it had a lot of memes. It was fun. And I wrote it because I think that I've been an influencer in Bitcoin for a long time. And my friends and people who follow me online, they trust what I say. And I've been saying for a long time that people would benefit from using Bitcoin. But
so we're going to get a little description of what's said in the video here. It's way too long to do right now. I don't want to sit here for 23 minutes and watch a video. But it says, in the video, Horton and Zeiler discuss why Anypay discontinued BTC support at a point in time why Anypay brought Bitcoin support back, and what they believe is the future of the Bitcoin network, as well as their opinions on the Lightning Network. And we recommend checking out the full video, which you can do in my channel, line up here in my description below. So let's see if we can get to the good part here. Okay, so it says, why did Anypay discontinue BTC support at one point in time? And Zeiler said, oh, we had to. It wasn't ideologically or that we were choosing to discontinue BTC on behalf of merchants. It was that we discovered, or someone discovered for us, a vulnerability, which was a flaw in our system, which we didn't understand. Because when we first added BTC support, this flaw didn't exist. It came as an update to the BTC software. And it says, our Anypay, our app Anypay is popular in Thailand, and a copycat said, hey, can I do this too? Can I do this to a merchant using BTC and Anypay? And he could, which is a double spend attack. And so he politely sent us the video before publishing, showing how the merchant can get scammed. So we discontinued support quickly so no one else can get scammed. But you came up with a pretty quick fix that detected a replace by fee. So the replace by fee is how you perform a double spend attack. And this is something that's it's open to Bitcoin at any point in time. And basically this is something that they wanted to do. They wanted to guard against that, so they discontinued the Bitcoin thing. But now they've done it again. And why did they do that? Because it sucks for payments. It's very slow. It's very the fees are very high, and it's just not an attractive option for payments, whereas Dash is. So that's why Anypay is against that one. So this was an article that I found. I found it interesting, so I wanted to share it with you guys. They're talking about millennials. It's Paul de Havilland from Cointelegraph that wrote this one. It's called "Crypto Could Save Millennials from the Economy That Failed Them." And this is a pretty interesting article too. So in a seminal blog post by Blockchain Capital, Bitcoin was described as a demographic megatrend. And see, so we're going to have different opinions here. You got the Anypay from before that thought that Bitcoin was not really that good, and now we have people that are bullish on Bitcoin. so I want to tell all sides of the story. And while new technology tends to follow a path of diffusion from younger to older generations, there's another thing driving crypto adoption among millennials. The fiat-based economy has failed them. So in an online Harris poll conducted between April 2019, found that people aged 18 to 24 were 3 times as likely to be familiar with Bitcoin as those over 65, and twice as likely as those 50 to 64. They outgunned all age groups in terms of familiarity. So this is becoming a young trend, a trend for young people. And it says Bitcoin is a positive innovation in financial technology. And that's the diffusion of innovation line, where you have the early adopters and you have the bell curve, and then you have the laggards at the end. So this is the toughest uphill climb in history. And let's read a little bit about that. The millennials are a generation that has been shaped by recessionary forces, with unemployment levels since the COVID-19 pandemic now falling back to levels of the year 2000. Millennials, having already been through a post-9/11 recession and yet another one following the 2008 global financial crisis, now face another episode of what the Washington Post has identified as slower economic growth since entering the workforce than any other generation in U.S. history. Well, this is a really interesting article, and we'll see. So it says crypto adoption is the highest among the generation abandoned by the system. So they face a hard road, as we just saw. So it says millennial enthusiasm for crypto is a function of less risk aversion and tech savviness amongst younger people. So they have less to lose, so they're willing to risk it. What's more than that, the millennial generation could see crypto as an alternative to a volatile economic structure that has repeatedly failed them. Statistics recently released by BlockFi had the open finance player conclude that outsized millennial and Generation Z ownership of crypto will create generational wealth for these families. Citing Charles Schwab's 2019 Q4 data, BlockFi found that the publicly listed Grayscale and Bitcoin Investment Trust was among the largest stock holdings for millennials, behind only Amazon, Apple, Tesla, and Facebook. It wasn't among the top 10 for baby boomers. So this is something that young people have hitched their wagon to. They think that crypto is the future, and as we know in crypto, we also agree that the crypto is the future, and they think that this is something good to hitch their wagons to and move them forward and try to get them out of this thing that they're in right now, this economic hardships. So that's another good article. I recommend going into that. So this is funny. Why are the millennials in economic hardships? And this is the graphic right here that shows exactly why millennials are in these hardships. This is a money printer go brr. And people are asking, this is on our Bitcoin. People are asking, why do we pay taxes when they can just print the money? They've done it so easily. They've just printed and printed and printed and added so much to this monetary supply. Why are we even paying taxes? It doesn't make any sense. The money has gone so out of control that it's totally distorted everything. It's like, why are we even paying taxes? And this meme, is definitely something that transacts that, that conveys that to people. They're basically just burning money. They're printing it and burning it, and we're questioning what's the use of paying taxes? We're not even going to make a dent in this for a long time, and if they just keep doing it, it's just ridiculous. That's why the economic system is so messed up right now. So I just wanted to share that with you guys. Bradley Zastro, he used to be a business director for Dash Core Group. I had to let him go with the bear market, but he's a very intelligent person. And this is another article that I recommend you read. It's a hammer in search of a nail. He's basically talking about how cryptocurrency is trying to find a solution to a problem that it may not be. The problem exists, but it may be a hard time to let people know that it exists. And there's current, obviously, challenges with cryptocurrency. So it says current challenges with the cryptocurrency payment ecosystem and how to overcome. Cryptocurrency offers exciting potential across a broad spectrum of industry. However, it's payments that's arguably one of the most obvious, if not original intent. On the surface, it seems to solve many of the challenges we experience today. Payments often take too long and cost too much. Simply put, this would seem to be a natural fit, yet mainstream usage adoption is simply not there. If it's an obvious solution, then why the stagnation? To grow mainstream adoption, 3 pillars need to exist and to be correctly addressed. Acquire, store, and spend. So they go through what's acquiring, what's storing, And what's spending? I think we all know that, so I'll skip that. So he's saying acquire. So this is what cryptocurrency needs to do. Like what challenges face cryptocurrency. So for the acquire, it said at the risk of oversimplifying, the act of acquiring needs to be easier in time, cost, and user experience. This can be accomplished in two ways, essentially passive and discrete. So passive is allowing people to earn cryptocurrency as one of the easiest and fastest growth engines of adoption. So he's been a proponent since 2018 when we enable users to earn Dash back on everyday purchases. This is something that's important. Places where you can use your talent, maybe like a decentralized Fiverr, where people can earn money that way. And discrete, he thinks this is where cryptocurrency has a stronger future potential as a payment rail. So it removes the current frictions from acquiring cryptocurrency because there's really no acquiring in the traditional sense. The payment is made in fiat, converted to cryptocurrency on the back end, and transferred to the receiving wallet where it's where it's converted directly back into fiat. So it's basically saying that it's just happening behind the scenes. And this is true. So, and then he goes on to talk about the number 2 problem with cryptocurrency is storing. And so they says the two biggest improvements and opportunities for improvement rest on the UX, the user experience, security, and cryptographic wallet addresses. Removing the need for cryptographic addresses and creating a Venmo-like experience with usernames started to take shape with the rollout of the Ethereum name service in 2017. And Dash's new platform is also going to be working on making Dash as easy to use as PayPal or Venmo as well, with these usernames and easy to send to addresses. So I think it's not addresses, it's just going to be to usernames. So this is the future. I think that's where cryptocurrency is going, to make it easier to use. So, and then number 3 is spending. So he goes on to talk about merchant adoption, consumer adoption. It's hard to get people to use these things because it's so easy right now to use a credit card. So that's why this is a very well done article, and I definitely recommend that you talk to it. You read it, and if Bradley, if you're watching, good job. So as we promised on the title, we're going to take a little trip around the world. We're going to talk about cryptocurrency and how it relates to Japan, Canada, and Venezuela. So these are 3 places where things are happening in cryptocurrency right now. So we're just going to touch on them here. So Japan is doing an update to its cryptocurrency regulation. And this article here tells you what you need to know about it. So it says, starting on May 1st, Japan began enforcing a slew of new cryptocurrency regulations, recently passed as updates to existing laws. That's welcome news for those in Japan's active cryptocurrency community, as the new rules provide greater clarity and direction on how to remain compliant while running a cryptocurrency business. Beyond that, the updates are reasonable in their demands of cryptocurrency businesses and account for the latest technologies and business models taking hold in this ever-changing industry. So they're going to make changes to the Payment Service Act, to the legal definition of cryptocurrency, and they're making changes to the legal definition of a cryptocurrency exchange, licensing for Japanese cryptocurrency exchanges, and the ongoing requirements. Japan's self-regulatory organization for cryptocurrency exchanges. This is going to be something that's called the JVCEA, and the 2020 updates are as follows. There's a 4th possible criterion for designating cryptocurrency exchanges. There's new rules for custodial cryptocurrency businesses, stronger rules on separation of user and company funds, and they talk about the act of prevention of transfer of criminal proceeds, and what the updates are for that. They updated the AML Act in 2020 to strengthen the KYC procedures, all businesses governed by the Act. Not just cryptocurrency exchanges, but traditional financial institutions as well, must conduct with onboarding new customers. And then this is something like the FinCEN in Canada, Financial Instruments and Exchange Act. They're creating new rules for cryptocurrency derivative trading. Give me a second, I gotta plug in my laptop. It's barking at me. All right. So, and it's also talking about ICO tokens defined as securities. That's no good. New self-regulatory organization for ICO STO token issuers, and Japan is providing leadership for the industry. I did kind of like an interesting video about Japanese financial stuff and the way they're handling cryptocurrency, And this is definitely something that's a lot of other countries find the Japanese way of dealing with this very good, and they're probably going to follow that, and they're probably going to use that as a model. So it says these latest regulations represent a big win for the Japanese cryptocurrency industry because it gives them more, how do you say, they give them more, I'm looking for that word, like relevancy in the industry. It's not the right word, but it's something like that. It just gives them more value in the industry. Exchanges and other services now have a clearer guidance and reasonable expectations from government on how to conduct businesses, while customers have clear protection in place that will allow them to use cryptocurrency as safely as possible. We hope other countries' regulators follow their lead. If you'd like to learn how chain analysis can help Japanese firms follow the new regulations, click here to schedule a demo. So that was Japan. Now we're going to take a little trip over to Canada. Oh, we're not going to go to Canada yet. Oh, what happened to Canada? I lost Canada. I'll just describe to you what happened in Canada. So basically they're talking about in Canada that cryptocurrency firms are going to be regulated as money transmitters, as money service businesses. So this is something that gives them a greater level of integration into the financial system. And it kind of means that crypto firms have made it. They're entering into the mainstream because they're going to be considered as money service businesses. So that means that Bitcoin, Dash, Ethereum, these are going to be considered like money and treated as such in Canada. So that's good. Good news in Canada, but bad news in Venezuela. But that's also continues to be good news for crypto. Because Wells Fargo in Venezuela, they have a service called Zelle. And this is a remittance service that you can use to send money abroad or for people abroad to send money to you in Venezuela. And they've discontinued this for I don't know whatever reasons they have for it. Ernesto Contreras is a business development manager for Latin America, and he posted this on Twitter. And he said that they've just discontinued it. And it's like, why would they do that? It's like they're shooting themselves in the foot. It's a huge business and a huge revenue stream. And you know what? Crypto is going to be right there to take advantage of it. So that's what this is talking about. Wells Fargo allegedly shutters Zelle in Venezuela, driving crypto adoption. Wells Fargo reportedly removed the cash transfer service Zelle for its Venezuelan customers. The company appears to be shooting itself in the foot with this move. Venezuelans are turning to Dash and other decentralized crypto solutions. So Dash has a big foothold in Venezuela, so anything that happens with regular mainstream financial businesses that causes this kind of commotion is only good for Dash. So this was the tweet from Ernesto. So why is Dash and other cryptos welcome in Venezuela? And he says, among other things, Venezuelans have almost no options to move our money. Today, Wells Fargo decided to stop serving some users in Venezuela, which leaves tens of thousands of people without that option. So it just shows the email that everybody's getting down there. It says Wells Fargo is removing your access to Zelle. It's interesting. So in an effort to improve business, Venezuelans are turning to Dash and other cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin. With transfers now possible without these trusted third parties, blockchains are enabling peer-to-peer money flows. So Dash has already added a massive number of users in the country, with as many as 1 million predicted by year end. So the way that the Dash growth is going in Venezuela, there's this that snowball effect. They're predicting 1 million by the end of the year. So this is only a good thing for Dash and cryptocurrency. It's kind of like a changing of the guard when you got the old mainstream moving out and you got the new technologies such as Dash moving in. So it remains to see what happens there, but that can only be good news for Dash. So this one is from CoinDesk, and it's a story from Tech. The latest Bitcoin Core code release protects against nation-state attacks. So basically, there's something that can be done by nation-states that affects Bitcoin, and it's a vulnerability. So it's art by William Foxley was the author of this. So it says the 20th iteration of Bitcoin Core was released Wednesday. Experimental software called ASMAP was included to protect against a theoretical Erebus attack. An Erebus attack allows nation-states and or large internet providers such as Amazon Web Services to spy, double spend, or censor Bitcoin transactions. So that's I'm not going to read the whole thing because this is something that if you're familiar with cryptocurrency, you know what a double spend attack is. And there's a new software implementation of Bitcoin that actually supposedly prevents this attack. But guess what? Dash was not affected by this attack. They're talking about how, say, if a group of full nodes can spoof another node, of, say if it's a crypto exchange or something with that services a lot of Dash or a lot of Bitcoin, they can spoof that node into thinking that these transactions have happened, and then so that node is going to broadcast those transactions to the network as well, and so that's going to try to take money from that crypto exchange based on that. But Dash already had a solution to this. It's called a network partition. So if Dash ever had a network partition, the most likely thing to happen is that one side is able to mine a signed chain. So because of Dash's chain locks, the whole network signs a transaction saying that this is going to be the only block accepted, and there can't be any spoofing because they won't have valid signatures. The other side will encounter non-signed blocks. This is the ones that are being spoofed, building on top of the last signed block, which was the last valid block before this attack happened. So miners who observe this must assume that another currently unobserved chain is being built in parallel, right? So if you're suffering from this attack, you know that this chain is not valid because it's not being signed. Since the parallel chain might be signed and could possibly overtake their own chain after the network is healthy again, miners should act accordingly and reduce hash power to reduce costs. So basically, they're going to know that something's up in the Dash network because all these non-signed transactions are going to be happening. If the network is partitioned to a degree that makes the majority in the responsible LLM queue impossible, so if somebody has enough masternodes, full nodes, to try to perform this attack and make everything messed up, it says all partitions in the network will be able to produce a signed chain. After the network is healthy again, one part of the network will reorganize itself to the other's chain, after which responsible LLM queues will sign the new chain tip. So basically everything will just fall back to Bitcoin, and then after that we can go back to the LLM queues that Dash has. So they already built this into chain locks, and now Bitcoin is just coming with the solution now, supposedly. But we'll see how that happens in the future. But Dash, as you know, is very innovative, and we've had this solution for quite a while now. All right, so Dash is all over the world. It's in Asia, it's in Europe, it's in North America, it's in Latin America. But this article here is talking about how Dash is dominating Nigeria. We have a team in Nigeria led by Nathaniel Luz, and they're doing a very good job integrating Dash into the system there with cryptocurrency exchanges, remittance services, and stuff like that. So this article by Adrian Barkley, it's on, what's the name of this website? Crypto Daily. He's talking about how Dash is dominating Nigeria. Dash Nigeria is a driven, nonprofit educational and promotional organization that pushes for the adoption of Dash, but not just in Nigeria. So before we go any further, I'm going to, because this is going into the Dash stuff now, so I'm going to give people a chance to chat and see if anybody has anything to say here. Nope, doesn't look like anybody's saying anything on the chat over here on YouTube, so we're just going to keep on going. Welcome to the show, guys, anybody who's following me. I'm Christopher Carruthers, also known as Tao of Satoshi, and this is CATV Live. This is a show I do every week. It's talking about cryptocurrency news and Dash news and going over all the things that I've been doing in my channel. So welcome to the show. If you're coming back, welcome back. And if you want to follow me on Twitter or Facebook or Twitch or DLive, that'd be great. Or subscribe to me on YouTube. Thanks for your support, and don't forget to like this video if you're watching right now. So we're gonna go on with the Dash news. This is the part of the show where we're talking about Dash, and I realize I started it already, but I just like to do things a certain way. I'm kind of stubborn like that. So I'm putting on this Dash part. This part of the show is for Dash. So thanks very much for watching, and we're going to continue. I'm going to make sure again that you can see what I'm seeing, and you can. So we're going to off to the races again. So Dash Nigeria is a driven nonprofit educational and promotional organization that pushes for the adoption of Dash, but not just in Nigeria. Steve Carew of Crypto Briefing got to learn about the extreme efforts the group has been putting into seeing Dash get a wider user base in Africa. So the dominance that Bitcoin has on exchanges stands at just more than 50% and is the standard by which all other cryptocurrencies are measured. In Nigeria, there is a dedicated group that is slowly but surely going in a different direction. Dash Nigeria aren't at all bothered about the cryptocurrencies hitting an all-time high again, and it isn't about holding as much crypto as you can and just waiting for the next bull run. Instead, their project is about solving the challenges that the continent faces. So it's not just Nigeria, it's the African continent they're focusing on. In a recent chat with the organization business development lead, Steve Carew of Crypto Briefing, got to learn about the extreme efforts the group has been putting into seeing Dash get a wider user base in Africa. So why not Bitcoin? Like, it's the biggest one. It's the most adoption so far. Why aren't we using that? So it says technically Bitcoin is the most logical cryptocurrency to use in Nigeria, considering that it's the most popular of all digital assets. According to Nathaniel Luz of the Dash project, the exhaustive list of advantages that Dash has over Bitcoin makes it an even more logical choice. So we've built it, Dash is there, we just need to see it through to more adoption. And once it does have more adoption, people will wonder why we were using Bitcoin in the first place. Yeah, I get that Bitcoin was the first. We're always going to have respect for Bitcoin for being the first. But other cryptocurrencies are doing it better. So why should we use something that's not innovating, just staying the same? So it says to start with, Dash transactions only take a few seconds to go through compared to Bitcoin, which has an average of 10 minutes. Therefore, it makes more sense to push for the retail adoption of Dash, especially for day-to-day transactions. So at the time of writing, Nigeria currently has more than 100 stores that accept Dash. Most of the stores are located in Lagos City, but other cities are getting involved too. Right? So that's props to Nigeria, props to Dash Nigeria, doing a great job getting Dash accepted there. I realize you have a tough job. It's not going to be easy to overtake Bitcoin, just like it isn't easy to overtake Bitcoin in the world. But we stick with it. We have a good product. We're private, we're instant, and we're secure. There's things that other currencies can't always say. So we just have to keep with it. We just have to keep pushing it. And we'll succeed. I have no doubt about that. So this is a Dash product update. This is something that the Dash Core Group puts out almost every week. And it says this week at the Dash Core Group. So let's see what's happened with Dash this week. It says, hello Dash community. Dash Core Group is a decentralized and remote team that continues to deliver on the promise of financial freedom. Here's what's been going on at Dash Core Group this past week. So they finished send, receive, search contact requests on Dash Pay for iOS. They finished register user transaction UI and search user on Dash Pay for Android. They implemented get identity by public key endpoints, allowing for significantly easier retrieval of a user's identity given their private key. And they implemented an identity top-up state transition in DPP, which is a key component of allowing users to add credit balances for spending on the platform. So it looks like they're doing more work towards the identities and more towards the economics of Dash platform, and they're also working on the iOS wallets. So that's cool. Things are happening at Dash Core Group. We like to see the progress every week. So this article goes into Bitrefill's latest contest about trying to buy something on Bitrefill, like by getting a phone top up. They had a contest. They were saying who can do it in the fastest time, and other ones were trying to use Bitcoin Lightning, and they were failing. But the people that used Dash were coming in fastest, and the one who actually won the contest from start to finish, depositing, selecting what you wanted to pay for, and actually having it deposited in your account, they used Dash. So it was 24 seconds from start to finish. So this article goes into that. Dash sending and receiving money in minutes, winning transaction speed races, and more wallet choices. They shouldn't be really saying sending money in minutes. It's more like seconds, but I'll give them a pass. Dash tweeted on What is Dash? They have made a reference to a video that explains what Dash is all about. Have you ever felt constrained about using your money? And this basically goes into talking about what happened in the What is Dash. So it says, to make use of Dash, users will have to download the desktop app, Android app, or iOS app. A range of desktop wallets are now available, and each of them provides for a different feature and security. They are available for Windows 64-bit, Windows 32-bit, Mac operating system, and Linux. So that's cool. And for some reason, I don't see anything about the contest. Maybe it's just me, I'm missing it. Well, yeah, I don't see anything about the contest, but they're talking about Dash in this article. So I'm just going to read these two quotes here. So Sydney Effergan, the crypto expert, tweeted, While many are just getting introduced to Dash and are getting to know what Dash is, there have been many who have explored its benefits to send money home. And then Dash tweeted, Hackster.io has published a mainstream lead article about blockchain, decentralized finance, and financial inclusion, with the interview parts of Dash Next co-founder Felix Mago and links to Dash. So basically that was what I went through earlier. That was the article that I went through off the top. That was really cool. So pretty cool that Dash is winning contests for speed. We always know that it's fast, but you can't take our word for it. You can just learn from these people that are winning contests because Dash is so fast. And another contest that they had was on Whitebit. Whitebit is a cryptocurrency exchange based in Ukraine. And I had them on this show. We did an interview before. And they just wrapped up a contest. They gave away 56 Dash, game cards, and a PlayStation 4. So that was cool. And they have a listing of all the winners here. Congratulations to you if it's a gleeful fiat CEO. So if you're a gleeful fiat CEO, you came in number 1. You got 1 Dash. That's great. Arctic Chinook got 4 Dash, and Vital Nodolmoli got 3 Dash. And then this is a whole listing of all the people that won Dash. So that's quite a lot of people. And congratulations to you if you're watching and you actually won from Whitebit. And I don't know who won the PS4, but they won the 56 Dash game cards and a PS4. So I'm assuming that number 1 probably won the PS4. But I don't know the exact details, but it sounds like it was a successful contest. So the Dash Investment Foundation is a unit of Dash that basically looks to say if we have extra Dash in the Treasury and we want to give it to the Dash Investment Foundation, they'll find a way to hold this Dash and they'll give it back to the network when the time comes. So basically they're just trying to find ways to increase the value of that Dash by investing in things. And they also want to change, sometimes they want to change the Dash to gold and like put it in different vehicles so we don't have everything in Dash all the time. And then they try to find investments that will benefit the network. So every year they have a supervisor election, and that's coming up right now. So if you're interested in being a Dash Investment Foundation supervisor, you can find all the information here. It's in this video. It's down in the description links below. So basically June 1st, 2020, they opened applications, so that's been done. June 20th, they finalized the election page and candidate profiles. So you have up to June 20th to put your application in. June 22nd to July 3rd is the open Masternode voting period. July 4th is the vote tallying and validation, And July 6th, the results are announced. So that's the roadmap forward. So this kind of interesting time where we have people from the community who might have investment experience or finance experience and think they can do a good job holding Dash funds and putting it into investments that will pay off for the network in the long term. So Stronghold is a wallet, and that basically they've added Dash, and they posted on Reddit everything about Dash. So basically they're just saying general wallet features is view fiat balance in USD, Euro, Yen, etc. View the sum of your entire coin portfolio net worth easily. Supports hundreds of coins, including multiple privacy coins, Dash, Urin, and Monero. Exchange most coins within wallet non-custodially. So this is something you can do. You can exchange within the wallet. It's a pretty good feature. Linux Windows support, and with Mac coming up soon, and fully encrypted with AES 256 and a local only wallet. So I know there's a lot of options out there when it comes to storing your Dash, but now there's one more called Stronghold, so you can look into it if you want to. Just wanted to give that to you guys. And this article's in Spanish, but my Spanish is okay, so I can tell you what's going on. This is basically what's happening in Venezuela right now. And this is the other part of the crypto tour that I want to take you on. So basically the title says that Dash is going to be able to be used in up to 200 stores in Merida in Venezuela with an integration into Pedo. So what Pedo is, it's kind of like Skip the Dishes or Uber Eats or stuff like that, DoorDash. And it's a food service delivery. So now you can use the Pedo to have food delivered to your house, and you can pay with Dash. So that's an interesting thing. It says Dash is not stopping to expand in Venezuela. So as I said earlier, Dash has a good foothold in Venezuela. Dash Mall and Parking, it's an association that aims to increase adoption of this crypto in the country, announced the integration with Pedo. So it says the platform The platform is going to be able to allow crypto purchases in Dash at commercial localities like Santa Teresa, Sal Benito's, Fresh Market, Diego's Cafes, Susie's Cookies, Avila Burger, La Nota Bar and Grill, and many more places like that. So these are food places you can use in person or for delivery. So that's interesting. I always hate when they use the old Dash logo. I don't know if you follow me on Twitter, you know I do the old logo alert. So if somebody uses the old logo, I try to direct them to the new logo, so they use that. The old logo is not too bad, but I like to see the branding more consistent. So that's good news if you're in Venezuela and you want to order something in Merida, and you want to order something from a restaurant. If the restaurant is included, you can order with Dash. So see, it's the stuff like that. It's like little integrations here and there. They add up over time. They snowball over time, and eventually you'll wake up and you say, wait a minute, I can spend Dash everywhere. You know what I mean? So this is something that's good. I know that once people will see Dash and use it, and they'll get to know it, and they'll see that's a better alternative than Bitcoin. Another person that knows that is Ryan Taylor, the CEO of the Dash Core Group. This article here is they're just talking about, they're just having a podcast with Ryan. So he's answering a whole bunch of questions from these people that might not know too much about Dash. So if you want to take a look at that, that's also in the description below in my YouTube section, in my YouTube page. Take a look at it, because whenever Ryan speaks, he's very informative. He takes his time. He's very deliberate, and you can understand more about Dash and its benefits and where we're going in the future, which is really cool. So that's an interview with him on SoundCloud. Amanda B. Johnson came up with another video again, Dash Talk. She's doing this once a week pretty much. So, and I'm going to take a look at this once a week. So here we go. This is, I'm going to go look into it. It's a 19-minute long video, but we're just going to check out the first couple of minutes.
Hello and welcome to Dash Talk. My guest this week is Joshua Shigala, who is the founder and CEO of Vaultoro. Joshua, how are you?
Wonderful, Amanda. I mean, it's a crazy time to feel wonderful, that's for sure. So I feel pretty lucky. Yeah.
Well, I'm glad. I can feel your good vibes from here. And so let's get started by telling the likely very few people who don't already know, what is Vaultoro?
Well, Vaultoro is a platform where you can trade Bitcoin and Dash for physical allocated gold that's sitting in a high security vaulting facility, fully audited and insured. And then you can trade that back to Dash or Bitcoin whenever you want, so that it allows you to hedge the volatility of these crypto assets without having to go and use the banking system again. You know, trying to stay outside of the banking system. And that was why I started it all those years ago. Yeah.
That's actually pretty much more or less what I've heard from one of your most avid users, who just sings the praises of Vaultoro, you know, any chance he gets. He says that the primary reason he started using your services was to be able to do what you've just talked about, like the kinds of trades, but without needing to use a bank account. And
yeah, it's so important. A lot of, you know, I got into crypto to get away from banks, and every time I used an exchange, I'd have to trust them with all these dollars or euros on a bank account somewhere. And if I tried to cash them out, the bank would ask for all sorts of things and even freeze accounts. So I really wanted a way. Plus, you know, after Mt. Gox collapsed, that was really the precipice of me saying, right, this has to change. We need a totally transparent exchanging system, and base it on gold instead of fiat, because the gold can be counted. It's not rehypothecated like banks do, like just sort of lending it out. Gold just sits in your name as your legal property and just sits there. It can't be lent out to anybody else without your permission. And even then.
So that's Vaultoro. That's Joshua Shigala. If you guys want to check out that interview, that's also going to be in the link below. And good job by Amanda B. Johnson. I'm quite excited that she's back into a regular role. She was on Tao and Amanda Live for a while, but that kind of fizzled out. And now she's doing something with Dash Talk. So no matter where she is, I'm quite happy that she's doing something for Dash. So check out Vaultoro too. So that's crypto to gold service. And this is another kind of well-done website that basically goes through all the aspects of Dash platform and what the Dash developers are working on in Dash platform right now. It was one of the Dash developers that created this site. So it's pretty well done, so I wanted to show it to you before I sign off today. So it says, welcome to the payment infrastructure of the future. We are building the best payment experience and decentralized cloud infrastructure of the future. Meet Dash Platform, a new step in development for Dash. I'm so excited about Dash Platform. I can't wait till it comes out. So one of the integrations is Dash Pay, username payments without any hassle. Send funds to your friends using their username privately. No more addresses or cryptographic knowledge required. Payments with crypto have never been easier. Just press one button and funds are there instantly. And it's private. Only two parties exchanging the funds can trace the transaction. No spectators, no faces to names. And the Dash platform, deploy your app to a decentralized cloud. Deploy your apps to the decentralized cloud storage. Access it on the web and mobile with an HTTP API. Developer-centric. So Dash platform built with the convenience of the developer in mind. We provide convenient SDKs and comprehensive documentation. It's fast. The Dash platform provides the same ease and use and speed as the established centralized database as a service solutions. Verifiable and secure. Unlike centralized solutions, all data stored on Dash platform is always cryptographically verifiable. And it's resilient. The data is distributed across all masternodes in the Dash network, located all over the world. That makes it harder to take the network down or censor the data. So you can learn about other basic Dash features that are right now, why Cash Alternative TV is so into Dash. That's instant, scalable, sustainable, decentralized, and private. And that basically tells you everything about Dash that you need to know. So this was a cool website that I just wanted to show you, and it's also in the description below. So guys, that's everything that I had to talk about today. We've come to the end of the show. I just want to see if there's anybody out there with a comment. Doesn't look like there's anybody with a comment. So happy to have you guys on the show. I'm going to sign off. Don't forget, if you're watching me on Twitch and DLive, stick around because after I clean up, I'm going to be doing a quick AMA with you guys. Tell you all about what's going on in cryptocurrency and any questions you might have for me about Dash. So once again, thanks for joining me. I'm Christopher Carruthers, also known as Tao of Satoshi. And this was CATV Live, right here on Cash Alternative TV. Bye for now.